Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Veil background information. We're doing an Angels and Demons profile today, and though normally I don't tend to do these in December, I decided I would do it this time. Why not? So we're talking about the Angel Sandalphon this time. It's not very big, but the next couple of angels won't be too big anyway because of the very little detail about them. But as usual, I'll give you a quote from one of the stories they're mentioned in. I'll give you the details I actually have, and then I'll give you the profile I've made for them. So, let's get into this. So there's more than one human who became an angel. Isn't that a bit stupid? I mean, Adam and Eve weren't made angels, and depending on where you land, Jesus wasn't an angel either. Quote from Blood Circle. Depending on your source, in most things, Sandalphon is regarded as an archangel of importance, but they are not referenced in scripture. Now, to begin with, Sandalphon is an archangel in Jewish and Christian writings, whose duties vary but is generally understood to pass prayers to God. In Kabbalah, there's hints that his role is more garnered to working with the feminine, as in taking the information from the women of a household to take to God, but as his roles and Metatrons overlap and get confused, it's hard to really tell if that's correct. According to some sources, particularly angelology, Sandalphon was the human brother of Enoch, who also got turned into an angel and didn't die. This idea comes from a lot of things relating Metatron and Sandalphon's duties as linked, particularly in the Kabbalah, as well as some attempts to find meaning to his name as co-brother. In fact, later writings from the Midrashic period tend to call him a twin brother. The theme is maintained heavily in angelology, with Sandalphon being someone who can be relied upon to relay messages to the Almighty, just as Metatron. However, some sources state that when the prophet Elijah was taken up, he was the human turned into Sandalphon, transcended rather. Either way, his origin is said to be that of a human. Now, description-wise, things can be a little hazy. Some say he's taller than one of the tallest angels going, and that's said to be more than 60 myriads, which is incredibly huge, and others depict him as having a head that reaches the heavens as a way to describe him. Either way, he is described as a tall angel, something Moses was said to have glimpsed on his visit to the third heaven, which is from writings far later than the Torah. He's marked as having a similar mythological root to Typhon in Greek mythology, and certainly in one random description he was described as potentially having many heads, which might have been a misunderstanding of the many wings depicted with some angels. He is said to be listed as a heavenly prince, as well as one of the Hazan, meaning he's one of the masters of song. He is also described to be in Caesar's battle alongside Michael with Samael, and in the Zohar, where this is referenced, he is chief of the seventh heaven. In the Greater Key of Solomon, Sandalphon is designated the left-hand feminine cherub of the Ark of the Covenant, showing more of that link to the feminine. There is also thought that he is referred to by name as Ophan, meaning wheel, and is the wheel within the wheel from Ezekiel's visions, and that Sandalphon is also somehow associated with the influence of gender over an embryo, i.e. what makes it change gender. This is rather odd to think about, but might also be linked to a more feminine aspect of his duties, but certainly it's a reference from a book called Angels A to Z, so this might be a modern interpretation to some reference. He is also sometimes called Who Serves the Crown, but is also mixed in with ideas of Metatron. In Christianity, it gets a little more confusing, as though he's recognised, he's never mentioned. In fact, people have tried to link him to a reference in the Book of Revelation, where his name means co-brother. However, scouring through my resources and even doing a Google search, I couldn't find anything about Sandalphon being mentioned in the Book of Revelation, bar this same quote from the meaning of the name from the Wikipedia page. But generally in Christianity, he is accepted as an archangel of music, and like Metatron in Christianity, he's included but not really talked about or assumed to be known more. In popular culture, he's turned up in a few places, and particularly is known for a poem, but on the whole, he's a lot more obscure. I'm intrigued by the link to Elijah, and certainly it would be an interesting thought, but I tend to stick with the relationship to Metatron, although, well, you'll see what I've done with Sandalphon. So, name, Sandalphon, position, archangel, story featured in, a few mentions here and there, role, angel of music, gender fluid. Description: very tall, standing above all other angels and yet having a wonderful warm light around them. Sandalphon had a wonderful, gentle, and feminine energy and a real love of music. They are thought to have soft, warm shades like soft browns and golds and orange brown wings and a gentle and feminine face. They have human eyes that are a soft brown, but when angered, their eyes burn with fury. Realm Heaven: abilities that they can battle demons, guide people to make music to heal their pain as well as to ease others. Sandalphon can also manipulate the chromosomes in an embryo if guided by the Almighty to ensure someone had a son or a daughter. However, as Sandalphon was permitted to decide if this is what should happen or should not, something they have the trust to decide upon. If that makes sense. Master of the Almighty, personality, friendly and fun. Sandalphon likes to include music into everything they do, and has a bright personality that helps steer people out of their dark moods. They're very empathic, and the understanding they have means that they can guide people around the different genres of music and teach them to express themselves. They are less judgmental than other angels, and often find themselves pulled into incidents where Samael is trying to gamble over whether souls will fall or rise, and Sandalphon alone is willing to fight with him over it. Relations: Metatron, his twin brother on Earth, and his brother in heaven. They understand each other well, and where Metatron is the voice of God, Sandalphon often is the expression of the Almighty through their soul. History: born on Earth, the twin brother to Enoch, Sandalphon remembers very little of life as a human except their love of music and worship and trust in the Almighty. When they were brought up into heaven, they did not know why, but it seemed that they had been deemed as deserving as their brother, and was given a role aside Metatron to help aid the word of the Almighty to pass to humans, but in the form of music. Sandalphon was always enjoying the different ways humans created music and how they put their emotions through it. So Sandalphon would go to those who needed a bit of help and try to steer music to them to give them the strength when they were low, or ease them with better thoughts when sad. Final comments: Sandalphon, I will admit, is a bit of a meh sort of thing for me, but then I do like writing the demons more. All the same, they're interesting enough, and I hope you found them interesting too. Thank you for listening.